Welcome to Every Coach Needs a Coach, the podcast for coaches of all sports and all age groups to learn from coaches and people they may otherwise never have the chance to meet. I did the most powerful exercise I think I've ever done with a team this past week. I had a rough week um, regarding players and playing time and mental health. And thank goodness for my sister who works and worked in education and dealt a lot with expectations of parents and expectations of kids and support of administration. That being said, I did two things this week that were the most powerful exercises I've ever done as a head coach. Those two things were we had a film session on Thursday and spent about 45 minutes watching our film, and then the next 15 or 20 minutes going over ways we can be valuable to the team that have nothing to do with our performance on the field. And we just brainstormed, and I wrote them out on the whiteboard. We can be cheering, we can give high fives, we can listen, we can go on car rides together, we can have dance parties, we can have pasta parties, we can manage the equipment, we can watch the film, we can do the stats. Boom. Came out probably 30 things, ways we can be valuable that have nothing to do with what we've done on the field. Then we went to the other side of the whiteboard, made a second list, things that we do on the soccer field that are valuable to the team, right? Scoring goals, making assists, offside traps, making saves, big goal kicks, big free kicks, big corner kicks, right? Accurate. Okay, boom, 30 things. We went back to the first list and I said to the kids, how much control do you guys have over this stuff? They looked at it and they said, all of it. We have total control over how often we're hugging somebody or how often we're cheering or the amount of film we watch. We have control over that. But okay, we went over the second list. And one of my players pointed to me and she says, I see what you're doing here. And I laughed because it was funny. And I said, how much control do we have over this list? And one of the things on the list that they said made them feel valuable is when their name gets called off the bench to go into the game. So at first they looked at it and they said, we have some control over that. And I highlighted that. I mean, when my name gets called to come off the bench. And I said, what if that never happens? How much control do you have then over the rest of this? And they said, none, right? If we're not in the game, we can't do that stuff. And I said, exactly. I said, it's really important for you guys to understand as high school kids. And I wish I understood this at 16. It took me an extra 14 or 15 years to pick up on this, that your value on this team is far, far, far more than what you do in between the four lines and how good you are at kicking the round thing into the rectangle thing. Your value on this team comes from the stuff you do on the first list. And uh, it's really important that you understand that because you have more control over that than you do the things that happen on the field. Right? If we're playing an outstanding team, we might not score goals. You are still valuable. And that was a good lesson. The next lesson I learned shortly after that was I have a player who texted me and she said, Coach Kelly, you don't even have to acknowledge this text. I want you to know I want to start. And I'm going to do everything I can in the next 3 days to show you that I deserve to start. Those things on the list, I'm going to work really hard at the soccer specific list over the course of the season, but really over the next 3 days to show you that I deserve to start. And like I just want you to know like where my head is. And it was a really good lesson for me because I guess I didn't make it clear to them that I want players who want that. Every coach does. Of course I want players who want to start. Of course I want players who want to score goals. Of course I want players who want to get offside traps and saves. Yeah. And it's my job as their coach to help them get better at that stuff so they can go do it. It's our job as a staff to do that. So the next day was Friday. We weren't playing for a little while. And we went back to the classroom after school and I drew the two lists up again. And I told them exactly that. I said, I want players who want this. It's my job as your coach to help you with this. I need you to understand that your value as a person, as a member of this team, comes from that first list. I love that you want to be good at soccer. Cool, let's do it. It's like it's so rewarding. It's one of the best parts of most fulfilling parts of my life is watching kids get better at the skills that we teach them. But their value as people comes from the things on the first list, right? And my assistant coach who played college soccer spoke a little bit about how her identity shifted and changed when her college career was over. And she realized that her self-worth had to come from somewhere that wasn't soccer. And that's hard. That's really, really difficult. I get it as a former college athlete myself. So then what we did, and this is the most powerful thing, is I said, we're gonna do an exercise about playing time. You guys, my team, our team, are now coaches of a second grade soccer team because we volunteered with the second grade soccer team a couple weeks ago. And I said, it's the first game. How are you deciding who starts? And a couple of them raised their hand. Well, okay, who's been to every practice? Okay, attendance is gonna be a factor in who starts. Who's really good? Okay, skill is gonna go into who starts. Who has a good attitude? Okay, that kid's gonna start, right? We go through this list. They come up with maybe 15 things. We go, okay, now we're playing a team of kindergartners. Who's gonna play in this game? Okay, kids with good sportsmanship, kids with good awareness, kids with they went through they added 3 or 4 more things to the list. I said, okay, now we're playing a team of 8th graders. Who's gonna go play? They give me 3 or 4 more things. Um, then I said, okay, last time now we're gonna play the green team. And last time we played the green team, the referees were terrible. So who are we gonna play? Right? And they keep adding to the list. We came up with a list of about 50 things. And I challenged them because earlier in that day, I had asked ChatGPT to list me 50 things that might affect a high school athlete's playing time, right? Or a coach's decision to play a player. And they crushed it. They crushed it. I said, okay, we're playing a team of 8th graders. Well, I want a second grader who's intimidating. Okay, great. We come out with this list. Then we go up to the field to practice. And what was really powerful was I could then draw from this list and say, guys, when we play our opponent next week, I need players who are intimidating. And right now that we were doing our one-on-one and a two-on-two drill, they were coming out like quiet little mice. And I said, and then I said that, and some of them changed a little bit. But then I demoed and I said, God, I'm not that good at soccer. I was a goalie. The foot skills, I still don't have them. But if my coach said to me, I need a player who's intimidating to play on Tuesday night, you better believe if I'm coming into this drill, that's the one thing I'm gonna be. So I showed him. I threw the ball out and I ran out like my head was on fire, right? I got the ball, I got the ball, I got the ball coming your way, right? And I was freaking intimidating. The football team looked over. What the hell's going on in soccer? Right? So the level after that, oh my gosh. I got 19 intimidating players. I didn't know it. They didn't know it. Then as we're doing the drill, we're waiting on balls, right? Balls end up all over the field. Me and my players go out, start fetching balls without being told to. So I pull them in. I say, guys, when I need players who have awareness, when I need players who have humility, when I have players who have sportsmanship, when I need that type of player, I'm looking for who went to go get the balls. I got lots of coaches on staff. They notice. Like you don't think that going and getting the balls is going to affect your playing time? It does. And I said, go get the balls. And you should have seen them. Like bats out of hell. They went and they got the balls. And now that they know the factors that go into their playing time and they know that there's more than 50 of them, I'm anticipating. We haven't had a game yet, so I might be eating my words. We have a game tomorrow night. I'm anticipating that I'm going to have to play a lot of them. And I'm anticipating that they're going to understand if they're playing a lot or they're not playing a lot. These are the factors that are going into this game. And I told them Saturday was the next day. I said, listen, keep working on this stuff. A plus B doesn't always equal C in coaching and in sports. You might work your freaking tail off and still not play. That's where that first list comes into play. That your value that you bring to the team And the value that you have as a person comes from, for me at least, the way we show up. And I told them they have to decide where their value is going to come from. But don't leave that up to me. Don't leave that up to your playing time. Don't leave that up to your math teacher or your mom or your dad or the minister at your church. Your value, you have to decide where it comes from as a person. Um, so I just wanted to share that. I think that was the most powerful thing that I've done as a coach to communicate that to my players. Um, and I'll add another tidbit in here. A couple times a year, I try to give them like a written push and a praise, right? Of like, hey, do this thing better, and you're doing this thing really well. For their pushes now, I said, go find a drill that we can do during practice or that you can do on your own to build that skill that I asked you to get better at. Because now what I want to have is a handbook, is an archive of a page of speed drills. So if I say to a player, you got to get faster, here's your resources that your teammates have come up with over the years, how to get faster. You got to improve your mental toughness. Boom. Here's your page of resources to improve your mental toughness. Um, and that's what I want to do. So a handful of them have already sent me their drill, and I'm looking forward to putting that in at practice this week. And they're going to take ownership of it. Oh, this is the drill that I suggested. This is the skill that I'm going to work on in this drill. So I just wanted to share that. I found it to be really, 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 really helpful. Like I said, we haven't had a game yet, so I'll have to come back here and reassess. But I think that a coach never did that for me. It was always kind of implied. I think for my high school kids, my high school girls, to see that and understand that better, it lit a little fire under their butts. And I think we're gonna have, I said to them, if we practice like we have in the last 2 days, we're gonna play until December. We're gonna have to, because they are all gonna get exponentially better. And they're all gonna make each other better in doing that. That's it. I appreciate you. Thank you for spending some time and your attention with me today. Keep moving and keep getting better every day.